This is a quick video. I'm going to show you how to set up your environment. This is going to be very high level though, so I'm not going to cover all the individual steps. Mainly what I want to show you is how it all works together and why we want to set it up really. So you're going to go and download an app called Brackets, and the web page is brackets.io. Brackets is a text editor that Adobe puts out. It's open source. And what's really cool, once you get it up and running, here, I'll fire it up, is it works real well. It's nice and snappy. But this thing is actually written in JavaScript. We're not going to go to those lengths of making something so awesome. But it gives you kind of a feel that you can do some really snappy stuff nowadays. Anyways, so the reason Brackets is so great is if I go and create, say, a new file, I'll just save this on my desktop. Notice how it gives me auto-completion with HTML. So here's where it's really awesome, is this lightning bolt enables what's called live preview. Check this out. As I hit save, it automatically updates the other page, which is really pretty darn awesome. So let's do that one more time just to call it out. So notice I'm deleting stuff, and every time I hit save, the other page just updates. And that's going to be great for doing development. Okay, so that's why you want to get Brackets. Let me reiterate that everything I'm showing here is not a requirement in the class, but it's more a guideline, a recommendation where I tried to simplify the class. You don't have to have something big and slow. You can just do something nice and simple like Brackets, and it will serve up your web pages. Then I also recommend using Git. And when you install Git on Windows or on Mac, you can get it so that you can use it from the command line. And the reason I recommend this is because it's going to be the most it's the best way to learn Git. And it's the most portable way. So if you wanted to put on your resume or say I know Git, then the command line's the way to go. And don't be overwhelmed with the command line. So the command line is just if you're not familiar with it, that's where it's your DOS prompt or whatever people have called it. But command line is just this window where you can type commands. And the reason it's so fantastic is it's overwhelming when you initially get in there, but give it a little bit, and you're going to see that it's actually simpler than remembering, oh, I got to click there, I got to click there, I got to click there. Command line UIs never get moved around like, oh, where'd that button go, and things like that. And as you get more familiar with doing stuff with the command line, you're going to love it. So give it a try. What I would recommend is maybe just for the purpose of this course, try using the command line, and you can decide to jump ship. There are GUIs for Git, but typically when something breaks or something's like not working, then it's 10 times as hard to resolve it. So try the command line. Again, not a requirement. If you want to learn it for yourself, this is the way you want to learn it. All the tutorials are going to walk you through it from the command line, so it'd be for your benefit. That being said, if you panic and just can't handle the command line or whatever, post to the class community. I'm sure I could recommend some alternatives, or other classmates could give you some ideas. Okay, so getting into Git. So go to your GitHub account. So here I'll go to github.com and log in. So here I'm logged in as Checkits. So I'm going to go and create a new repository, and we'll call this CIT 261 Winter 2014. Okay. And it's public, so you can see it. and they can initialize the repo for you, which I kind of recommend. And that'll let me just clone it and start putting stuff in it immediately. So that's what they're saying here. If we skip it, then it might do some some extra stuff. But don't worry about that. I'd say let's try to keep it simple for now. So we're going to go and create that repo. Here it exists. It's got a README file, and so we use this clone URL over here. And now I can go and clone it. So back on the command line, I just git clone that repo. And it created a subfolder called CIT261. So if I go into there we can see we got a README file and things like that. So let's go to brackets and go and open up that folder. I'm going to close out all those tabs. Okay. Go and open up that folder. Okay, and there we got the README file. We can edit it. So here I just created a little markdown file, and so that's what this MD means. It's just a way that we can put in lists like this, and it's going to turn it into HTML. So watch when I go and push this. So from the command line, the commands the only things you really need to learn with Git is git commit, push, and pull. But instead of doing a commit, you can also use git GUI, which this is a nice command line GUI. It comes with Git, so everyone will have it. And to do a commit, it has here are things that you've changed that you haven't staged. So you click the icon to stage it, and then you do a commit. So we'll say added list of required tools. Okay, so now I've created a commit, but it's not in GitHub yet, and so you have to push it now. So if I do a git push, then it will push that up. And so there you can see that even though in brackets we used a pound here to say a header and then asterisk, it actually turned it into a list for us on GitHub. So that's kind of a nice way to get that code up and down. So that's all you need to really get going, right? You can get stuff onto Git. You can share code. You could send it to me. You can play with it in your editor, and just clicking the lightning bolt would be sufficient. And here I'll create an index HTML, so we have that. Check that in. There we go. And I would recommend installing Chrome, because that'll be good. Okay, so that's it for getting set up and using these tools to get going. Post any questions to as comments to this video or as other posts in the class community, and let's get this discussion going as you get your feet wet.